The phone buzzed at 4:03 a.m., slicing through the stillness of the dark room like a blade. My eyes burned as I blinked at the screen, half asleep, half aware that no good news ever came at this hour. The message glowed in the dim light. "Relax, I'll explain." Nothing else. No context. No punctuation that hinted at calm or panic. Just that one sentence that felt like gasoline on a slow-burning fire that had been smoldering in my chest for weeks. For a long moment, I stared at the message, waiting for another one to follow. Something that would make sense of it. Maybe a typo, maybe an apology. But nothing came. The clock ticked. The silence pressed in. My mind started to churn with images I didn't want to see. Her laughter over hushed phone calls, the night she came home late, smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. I typed, "Explain what?" and stared at the blinking cursor, waiting for it to stop mocking me. No reply. The room felt colder than it should have. Our bed looked too big, too empty. Her side was untouched, smooth, perfectly made. She hadn't even pretended to sleep next to me last night. I tried to tell myself she was just out with friends like she said, that she'd lost track of time, that her battery had died. I'd told myself the same story too many times lately. I sat up, heart pounding, the phone still in my hand like it might explode. I scrolled through our old messages, searching for warmth that used to be there, the little hearts, the inside jokes, the miss you already texts. But the trail had gone cold weeks ago. Somewhere between her new work trips and her distant smiles, I'd lost her, and I'd been too afraid to admit it. Then, 20 minutes later, a frantic knocking shattered the silence. I froze. 3 hard, uneven knocks. Then again, faster. I got up, bare feet hitting the cold floor, and opened the door. She was standing there, hair messy, eyes swollen, tears streaking down her face. She looked terrified. Not guilty, not defensive, terrified. Her hands trembled as she clutched her phone. "Please," she whispered, voice cracking, "please let me in." I stepped aside, still stunned, watching her pace the living room like a trapped animal. My heart wanted to rush to her, hold her, ask what was wrong. My mind stayed still, heavy with dread. "What's going on, Emily?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "You text me at 4 in the morning to relax, and now you're here crying like someone died." Her breathing came in shallow bursts. She sat down, but couldn't stay still. Her knees bounced, her fingers twisted the hem of her sleeve. "I didn't know where else to go," she whispered. "Start from the beginning," I said. "What happened?" She looked up, eyes wet, lips trembling. "You're going to hate me." The words landed like a punch. I said nothing. "I was stupid," she went on. "I thought I could control it. That it didn't mean anything. But it got out of hand." Something inside me cracked open. My pulse roared in my ears, but I didn't interrupt. "It started months ago," she said quietly. "At the firm. Late nights, too many drinks after work, one of those things that feel harmless at first." She paused, eyes darting to mine, searching for something, understanding, maybe mercy. It was Daniel. Daniel. Her project partner. The one she said was just a friend. The one who texted her at midnight because deadlines don't wait. I felt the air leave my lungs. "You slept with him." She flinched like I'd hit her. "Once," she said, almost inaudible. "I swear, just once. But then he wouldn't leave me alone. Tonight, he showed up at my apartment. Drunk. Angry. He said he'd tell you if I didn't see him again." I panicked. Her words blurred together. The world seemed to tilt. I tried to keep my thoughts from collapsing. "So you came here," I said slowly, piecing it together. "At 4 in the morning. To what? Confess? Hide?" She covered her face, sobbing. I didn't know what else to do. I just wanted it to stop. "I thought maybe if I told you first." "Stop." My voice was quieter than I expected, but sharper. "You wanted to tell me first so you could control the story." She looked up, face pale. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laughed, a dry, hollow sound. "You lied to me for months, Emily. You let me think we were okay while you were sneaking around with him. And now you want fairness. Her tears came harder. I made a mistake. I didn't love him. I swear I didn't. I just felt invisible. Like you'd already given up on us. Her words twisted the knife deeper because part of me knew what she meant. I had drifted. I'd buried myself in work, shut down when she reached out. But betrayal didn't cancel pain. It doubled it. I walked to the window, trying to catch my breath. Outside, dawn was starting to bleed into the sky, grey and cold. The world looked the same, but everything in it had shifted. Did you ever plan to tell me? I asked without turning around. I wanted to, she said softly. But every time I tried, I got scared. I didn't want to lose you. You lost me the moment you decided to do it, I said. Silence stretched between us. I could hear her sobs quieting, her breathing slowing as the weight of what she'd done sank in. Finally, she whispered, "Can you ever forgive me?" I turned then, really looking at her. This woman I'd built a life with, the one I'd loved since college, now broken in front of me, and all I could feel was exhaustion. I don't know, I said truthfully. Right now, I don't even know who you are. She nodded, wiping her face. I'll go. She stood, hesitating for a moment at the door, as if waiting for me to stop her. I didn't. She walked out into the pale light of morning, shoulders shaking, disappearing down the street. I sank onto the couch, phone still in my hand. Her last message was still open. Relax, I'll explain. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. Relax. As if there was a word less fitting for what she'd done. Hours passed before I realized she'd left her phone charger on the coffee table. I picked it up absently, but something caught my eye, a tiny flash drive tucked underneath it. My stomach tightened. I plugged it into my laptop, not sure why. Curiosity. Closure. Maybe just pain looking for proof. There were photos. Dozens of them. Screenshots. Messages. Recordings. She hadn't just cheated. She'd been helping Daniel siphon confidential client data from her firm. The betrayal wasn't only personal. It was criminal. I sat there, frozen, as her face filled the screen. Smiling, lying, whispering to the man she swore didn't matter. By the time the sun was fully up, I wasn't angry anymore. Just empty. She'd said she came here because she didn't know where else to go. But maybe she wasn't running from him. Maybe she was running from what she'd become. And as I watched the light flood the room, I finally understood the real meaning behind her message. Relax, I'll explain wasn't a plea for patience. It was a confession waiting to collapse.